Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Julie and Jim Traber podcast. I am Jim Traber, along with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Julie Traber. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm excited about tonight.
Are you?
Yeah, I've been wanting to do this podcast for a while. I'm pretty excited.
I don't know, but I'm not as excited as you are.
Yes, you are.
But there is one thing that I like to do, and that is talk about myself.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm pretty
it's one of your favorite topics.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Hey, we had some interesting things happen. So we've talked about this on this podcast before, that my family, ladies and gentlemen, they are addicted to Chick-fil-A, okay?
It is true.
And it also makes it they're just great Christian company, you know, not open on Sundays and everything. I mean, we love their morals. All the kids that work there usually are just the nicest young kids and everything. But this one here, and all my grandbabies and my daughters, except the vegan ones,
she loves it too, though.
She does love it.
She goes and gets the French fries and the sweet tea.
That's right. Well, their sweet tea is really, really good. Matter of fact, we
had it tonight.
We got a big old gallon of it over there. But I heard, now, if you've been married for over 30 years like we have, there are some words that you don't ever think will come out of your spouse's mouth. Matter of fact, that might be a really, really good podcast to talk about what would be the most unbelievable words that come out of your spouse's.
The most surprising thing. Yeah.
Like, I would say, like, one for you would be, Jim, you want to go get drunk tonight?
Yeah.
You know, that would be like let's
go party.
Yeah, well, party. I'm just talking about you want to go out and drink.
Want to go clubbing?
Yeah, but there's a lot of them I think that we could find out. But I heard one a few days ago that I never thought I would hear.
It stopped you dead in your tracks.
It did. I stopped. You want to tell them what you want to tell them the situation?
We were trying to figure out lunch because this week's been crazy with the schedule because Calvin has had these camps going on.
Does he have camp tomorrow, by the way?
Last day.
Oh.
But right smack dab in the middle of lunch. So I was trying to figure out lunch for everybody, and you said, how about you just go to Chick-fil-A?
That's right. How about you just go to Chick-fil-A?
I got to tell you, I'm starting to get a little tired of Chick-fil-A.
I literally almost fell. I almost fell over.
You stopped dead in your tracks and you were like, what?
What'd you say?
After 30 years?
I mean, I just cannot believe that. Are you really, is that truthful?
I just think we're into 4 grandbabies now that want Chick-fil-A all the time too. And maybe my adult palate has finally kicked in where I'm like, I can't eat that another time this week.
Now, let's tell the people, well, your schedule has been all messed up, like you said, but your schedule is that you get one grandbaby, then another grandbaby, then the other one again, and then both of them together. That's the way your schedule goes. And
during school.
Right.
Yeah.
And during the day that you have both of them together, we usually go to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And we eat at lunch there, and then we go to that little play park, which is kind of sad, but the kids
like it. For
every
whatever reason.
Every one of our grandbabies had liked that little play thing at the mall, which is really, kind of weak. But you eat at Chick-fil-A, and tomorrow you've got both boys. Now, you said we're not going to be able to have lunch.
We can't go to the mall, yeah. We'll have...
So the next time we take the kids to lunch at the mall, are you telling me you are not going to have Chick-fil-A?
I'm sure I'll be over it by then. I just had it too much in the last 2 weeks. I needed a break.
Sweetie, you have eaten per year, I would say, 100 to 150 times a year?
It would be interesting to calculate.
So 365 days, 180 would be halfway.
It can't be that.
It's 100. I will bet you wouldn't be. You guys eat Chick-fil-A a lot.
We eat a lot of Chick-fil-A.
And I like Chick-fil-A, but my gosh, sometimes you'll go, we're going to get Chick-fil-A. You want to eat it? I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot eat Chick-fil-A.
Here's the thing. I really love Chick-fil-A in the winter because they do this tortilla soup, and I'm obsessed with the tortilla soup.
They have a great chicken noodle soup, though.
They do, but I'm obsessed with the tortilla soup, and I could eat that every day. I could get a cup of their tortilla soup, and I'm good.
But
it's
the
so
one
filling.
in the mall doesn't have soup.
They don't have soup, so I don't like that. I don't like that about the one in the mall.
But you'll eat the daggone a salad. You'll eat the wrap. You'll eat the sandwich. You'll eat the nuggets. I mean, you go all over, don't you?
Yeah, I can find something new to eat.
Now, was it our daughter Caitlin that came up how to get this the stuff on the salad? Is that her? or you?
I'm sure she saw it somewhere else. We didn't invent it.
Tell everybody about that, because I'm telling you, the people out there, you're going to love this. This is a really unbelievable move. Tell them what you do.
So you take the salad container. I'm sure they know this already.
I bet you.
We were late. We were late to the game.
Were we?
And then you put the salad dressing on it, and then you close it up, and then you shake. You do the little shimmy.
Yeah. Look
and
at
then
it.
it
Keep doing
gets.
that. Do that again. That a girl.
Yeah.
And it does. It's
sorry
amazing.
Sorry about that. I'm Baptist. I'm not supposed to dance.
I don't know if everybody does know that. And if you do know it, you're cool. But I'm telling you, it's amazing. They shake it all up and stuff, and then every little piece has some salad dressing on it.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant move. First time I ever saw it was Caitlin.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, I just am a little burnout from it. But I'm sure, give me a week and I'll be good as new. I did go there today after saying that.
Right.
To get a sweet tea.
Well, the sweet tea is different, right? We're not talking about food at that point. You'll never get tired of the sweet tea.
You know, there's a lot of people who are obsessed with like Diet Coke. So they'll go to a Sonic to get a Diet Coke.
Sure.
And it tastes better. I'm that way about sweet tea at Chick-fil-A.
And we got that new place, this Swig or whatever. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. That everybody loves.
That everybody loves.
And they do those dirty sodas.
Yeah.
That's the new thing. So they add cream and syrups and you can have anything you want. I just like a good sweet tea.
Well, I'm telling you, you can drink some sweet tea. The whole family.
And I've got all the grandkids on sweet tea. They all love it.
Of course you do. I mean.
The only one that hasn't tried it is Nora.
Well, she'll, I'm sure when she comes down here, you'll put some in her bottle or something.
It'll have to be.
She's put sweet tea in bottles before. Is that beautiful?
Oh.
That is the most Southern thing you'll ever hear in your life.
It's frowned upon by the parents of my grandchildren.
Some of our daughters are not happy with this one sometimes. It is hilarious to watch Chelsea get upset with you about something. She
rarely gets upset with me
anymore.
anymore.
It's not bad upset, but you're just like, she goes, Mom, I don't want them doing that. And then you go, okay. And then they leave and bang, you fire the sweet tea in their mouth. I mean, it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, it's funny because the main thing she's gotten on to me about lately is the boys are obsessed with Bluey, which seems to be a good program. Bluey's good. She just thinks I should limit it. And so the other day,
they walk in the house the second they walk in the house.
They want Bluey. That's all they want to do. And so I try to take breaks from it to do other activities. And so I had done that with Clyde. We'd gone out to the pool. We'd gone upstairs. Then he wanted Bluey. So of course it's on when she gets here. And she was like, Clydie, are you watching Bluey? And he goes, I just watched one, and then I watched one more. And he looked at me and he goes, just two, right, Gigi? And I was thinking during this particular sitting, yes.
But during the day, he watched 7.
But it was just so cute because he was like, that was the first time I'd seen him like, oh, I need to backtrack what just happened
with his mama. Because she knows that she's the one, although they don't come down on him at all.
No, not at all.
This little boy, it's impossible to come down on him. I mean, he's the sweetest little thing ever.
But I will tell you, when I went to Chick-fil-A today, I got so excited. I looked across, and we have a new shopping center that's come up right by that Chick-fil-A.
This is unbelievable.
There is a Sephora by our house. I feel like we need that.
You want to tell them what you said?
So I go over to Sephora and
Jay,
you call me.
This is beautiful.
You call me and you said, where are you? And I go, you know what? I'm so excited. There's a Sephora here. And so I'm over here checking it out. And you said the funniest thing to me. I just giggled the whole time I was in the store thinking about it. You said, well, I just couldn't be happier to hear about that.
I mean, she told me like she was telling me we were having another grandbaby. You know what? I was like, what? I thought it was really exciting. Courtney's having twins or something. Nope. A Sephora is closer to our house. That doesn't make me that happy.
It made me happy for some reason.
Yeah.
I was excited.
Because you like to spend money
but
in there.
You just said something.
What?
I haven't even told you this.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna say this.
On our podcast?
On our podcast. You've never heard this.
What?
I haven't shared this.
What?
So listen. I was talking about Ninny being pregnant with Clyde.
Right, yeah.
And I said, Courtney has a baby in her belly. And he goes, Ninny has 2 babies in her belly.
What?
It's the second time he said that. So it's going to be really interesting to find out what if we're having twins. Because he's predicted it. And he's a little old soul, that guy.
So did his mama mention that it could
No.
be twins, or did you? Maybe you and I were talking about it.
No. He said it the first time when we were in Seattle. He said, Ninny's got 2 babies in there.
He had to hear that.
And we just thought he was mistaken, that he meant Nora and she's got a baby. So we all blew it off. But he said it to me again yesterday.
Man, I
He
wonder if
corrected
he's
me.
a sayer.
He corrected me. So it's going to be interesting. If
So
we find
Courtney, our youngest, she's like 4'11", like 105 pounds. Okay, at the most. She's gained a little bit, but so
'Cause
she's
she's pregnant.
She's pregnant again.
Yeah.
So do you think it's twins?
I have no idea, but I'm just telling you what Clyde said. So
Well,
I think that would be very exciting, but we'll see.
I'm
Okay, so
telling you
listen.
right now, she will be worn out if she gets twins.
I
but-
think it would be, it runs in both families. So there's a possibility. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, I know. All right. So, yeah, okay. Tell them what your idea is here. Come on.
So I'm going to tell you guys where the ideas, we get questions about Jim's baseball career all the time. People ask you for advice. And we've never really just done a show about baseball, about your career in baseball. And I really want to get that on the record, having this conversation with you, for what's that word? For posterity, correct? Let's just get it on the record.
Okay, sounds good.
We've just been through an incredible series with the Thunder.
Yes.
And it was really interesting because when the Thunder lost and they were out of their series, they lost their series. One of the first comments you got from a listener was on your Instagram, so the Thunder are out. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, that's right. I hope you're happy.
And you were like, what is that?
What
Of course I'm not happy. Like, I'm not rooting against them. And it's just so funny because I was telling you, I said, it's really interesting to be your wife and watch you watch sports and watch how you just watch it differently, I think, than fans do on any sport. And even when you are a fan, when you're watching the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're
Well, I'm
still
done with it right now.
You're still so objective. Like you really are looking at it.
I will yell at my team.
As an athlete, though, you're looking at it with a critical eye about what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong.
Right.
And you're pretty unbiased. Like,
Well, there's two teams that I'm biased for. I say this on the radio. The Pittsburgh Steelers, which, like I said, I'm done. They hired that fat boy McCarthy, and I'm really mad. And the other one is Oklahoma State baseball. That's it. And it hurts a lot of people around here because if you're not from here, these fans are psychotic. See, usually it's OU football and OSU football, but now they're all together. Everybody loves the Thunder. So
Right.
there's like huge amount of people that all love the Thunder. And unfortunately, I tell what I believe to be the truth, and they don't like that. They want me to be a homer.
You just did an article for Barrett Media.
Yeah, Barrett
recently.
Media,
It's
yeah.
on your, if
Instagram.
anybody wants to go read it, you
At
can
Jim
find
Traber.
it.
Go to @Jim Traber.
Yeah.
Find anything about our family and everything.
But I loved one of the things you said was a lot of the people in our city are learning about the NBA in real time.
Yep.
Because they've never gotten into it until we got this team.
That's right.
And so they are rabid fans, like really great fans. And you hear the Thunder players say that. They love playing in our stadium.
There's some of the best fans around.
Absolutely. But because you are honest and you are more objective and critical at times, you do get a lot of haters.
There's no doubt.
They get really mad at you. But the thing that I find fascinating about watching sports with you is how dead right you are more times than not. That it all comes out in the wash that you were right. You were not being critical. It's just something that you see.
Right.
And you see it in a way that I think a lot of people maybe that didn't play the sport wouldn't see.
Right.
Or maybe as a fan, they want to see it their way.
It's really hard for a fan of a team to be
Neutral.
objective
Or-
about
yeah.
their team. But I am. And
Yeah.
by the way, I was before I was a radio host too.
Right.
I mean, about the Steelers. Listen, I was the very first person to come on any type of media around here and say that the baseball coach about 15 years ago, whatever it was at OSU, should be fired. He wasn't doing a good job. His name was Anderson, and a nice guy and everything, but he just wasn't the answer. And so I'm saying that about my own program, that I love. Steelers, Tomlin. I wanted him fired 2 years ago.
Right.
Now I didn't want him bringing in Mike McCarthy, but yeah, I tell the truth. If they stink, I say they stink. And there's a lot of people that can't do that.
Well, so that's where this whole idea came into my head. I'm like, we need to get this on the record. Where did Jim Traber come from? What makes up Jim Traber? What is in that head of yours, and how did that happen?
Man.
And so
You don't want to know what's in my head.
we are going to dig into that tonight.
All right. Very good. Before we do, let's say some good words about our man, J.R. Holmesy. He is an incredible, incredible attorney. He has been top 10 in the state of Oklahoma for personal injury attorneys. And I'm telling you, he did an unbelievable job for us. We had a terrible car accident. Julie got hurt really bad. And he took care of everything, didn't he?
Everything. Yeah. We hope you're never in a position to need him. But if you are or know somebody who's been in a terrible accident, get in touch with J.R. Holmesy. He can help you navigate the whole thing.
That's the key. If it happens to somebody you know and they're thinking, gosh, what are we going to do? You tell them. Say, hey, I got this number over here, 405-524-1011. J.R. Holmesy and Associates is the best, 405-524-1011. Doesn't have to be a car accident. It can be any kind of work accident or anything. He'll do a great job for you, our man, J.R. All right, go ahead, Julie. You're running the show.
Okay. Well, I think we just start. Let's start at the beginning. Isn't that a song with?
Let's start in the very beginning.
Yeah, your girl Julie Andrews.
A very good place to start.
Yeah, so we're just going to start at the very beginning. How old were you when you started playing any type of organized sports?
5 years old.
Tell us about that.
My dad was a big sports guy, but he never really got to play very much because, he had to support his family and he went to war and everything. But he knew sports and he knew what was good in sports. And I started at 5 years old. And when I was 5, I played for a while. I didn't play anything. I didn't play any of this, like, T-ball or anything like that. I went right to it, right? And he put me in a league that was 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds. And I was 5. And I was like the little leadoff hitter. I was little. And
now, had they been working with you at home before, or they just threw you out there?
All we did was throw the ball and play. And of course, my brother was a superstar athlete, and he would take me to places, and I'd go play with people that are 6, 7 years older than me. I mean, so that's all I did. I mean, it was just that I was going to do it. I couldn't play anything else but baseball that young because there was no football. And basketball was, I liked it, but I didn't really care about it yet. So that's all I did. I played baseball when I was like 5 years old. And I was good. I mean, everybody knew I was going to be good.
So you said you started with kids that were older than you.
Right.
Did you also have like kids in the neighborhood? Did you guys play? Is it like Sandlot where you had your friends and y'all were always playing baseball?
That's all we did. That's all we did every day, all day. If we weren't, I would play baseball all day long with my friends and then go play a regular game that night.
Yeah.
It was not, that's all we did. My whole life was play, play, play. Matter of fact, it was so cool in the neighborhood we lived. I had a bunch of dudes that were close to my age. And our parents would make dinner time the exact same time at every house.
Oh,
just so
cute.
we could go in, eat dinner, and it was a half hour, and then we're right back out
so
playing
they could
again.
keep you boys out of the house.
That's right. And then when it got dark, we'd play like, hide and go seek or something like that. We were out all day, all night. It was crazy.
Now, do you remember some of the kids you played with? Do you remember their names?
Well, Gary O'Mara was my favorite friend. He lived a couple houses down from me. He was a really good baseball player, but his dad wore him out, unfortunately, and he ended up being like a druggie. And we were always friends. It was kind of crazy because I was this big, athlete, and he would walk by and he'd have his jeans hanging down and long hair. And he was just one of them. We call him freaks.
He just kind of burned out.
He went the other way, and there was a little area.
But
called the smoking area.
We've seen him later, and he pulled his life
No, he
together.
did.
We
He
met
did pull
him.
his life together, but yeah.
He wasn't really a freak.
He was for a while, but he was always in the smoking area,
Yeah.
and everybody would go, "You friends with him?" I said, "Yeah, I'm friends with him. It's cool." And then somebody say, "Why are you friends with him?" I'll tell you right now, he's a better baseball player than a lot of y'all. And they would be, what are you talking about? I said, I'm telling you, man, if his dad wouldn't have worn him out, he was good. But he was one guy. But Kevin Chambershini was my next door neighbor.
That's a fun name to
Yeah,
say.
Kevin Chambershini. Yeah, Tommy Chambershini, Kevin Chambershini. There were a bunch of them. That's really about it. I don't remember a whole bunch more.
How old were you when all this was going on? Was this all through elementary?
Yeah, elementary, middle school, all the way through. Yeah, it was, what's all we did was play. Yeah.
Now, I remember you telling me that you told your family when you were about 5, was it 5?
5.
That you were going to play in the big leagues?
Yeah, when I remember, it's crazy. I don't remember very much stuff, but I remember one day I was playing in that 6 to 7 league, and I was doing really good, as a 5-year-old. It's the first time I ever played. And I remember coming home one night, and of course, my dad was at every game. And I came home and I said, you know what, Dad? I said, I think I'm going to play in the major leagues. And he was like, get the heck out of here, And I said, no, Dad, I think I'm going to play in the major leagues. And my mom was good. Well, it's so sweet that you have, how my mama was.
Of course you are, Jimmy.
That's right. Oh, Jimmy Joe.
You can be anything you want to be.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what she would say. I love that you have goals and stuff, And so I told him when I was young I was going to do it. And I had no idea what I was talking about, but incredibly, I fulfilled it. So,
well, I'm just curious. Who was your favorite baseball player when you were little?
There was 2 of them. Roberto Clemente was my favorite player of all time. Matter of fact, when he died, I cried and cried and cried. Man, I was so sad. He played for the Pirates, and of course, I loved Pittsburgh Steelers, Pirates, Penguins. I loved them all. And then the other one, believe it or not, was Pete Rose. I mean, I loved Pete Rose, the way he played the game, the way he dove. I played just like Pete Rose. I dove into bases, and I just did crazy stuff like him. Then, of course, now I can't stand him. He passed away, so I guess I should not say that. But, yeah, then he he ended up gambling on the game. And then I met him like 3 or 4 times, and he was just kind of a jerk and just a gambling degenerate. So, but I love the way he played. And then Clemente was by far. I loved a lot of them other Pirates like Willie Stargell and Dave Parker. And I mean, I loved a lot of those guys, but Clemente was my favorite player of all time.
Well, you've kind of answered my other question. I was going to ask your favorite team. So I guess you were a Pirates.
Always a Pirates fan. Huge Pirates fan.
Your dad?
My dad was an unbelievable Pirates and Steeler fan. Some of my favorite times with my dad were, we lived in Columbia, Maryland, so that was 4 hours from Pittsburgh. But the station that the Pirates were on was called KDKA Pittsburgh. It's a famous station. It's still going. And it's 100,000 watt, huge station. So when it got dark, it's an AM station. When it got dark, they shut down a lot of stations around the country that are smaller. They move them littler, and then the big ones just take over. And my dad and I, we would eat dinner, and then in the summertime, we would go out in the car, and we would turn on KDKA Pittsburgh, and we would take the car and drive it around until we found a spot where it sounded good. So we could be parked in front of somebody's house.
People thought you were casing the places,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. No, but back then it was different. Nowadays,
Right.
they'd have called the police on us. But yeah, we might be sitting in front of somebody's house. We might be down some cul-de-sac. Sometimes it was just good in our driveway. But yeah, we did that so many nights, and I just loved it, man. We'd get mad together. We would cheer together. It was probably my dad. You met my dad. My dad, you met him when he was a lot more like lovingly outgoing, I would say. But when he was younger, he was not. I mean, he was one of them bad dudes, man.
He was tough.
He was tough.
Gruff
Yeah,
man.
and we had good times, but that was maybe my favorite thing to do with my dad was sit outside and listen to the baseball.
Now, was your
on the
brother
radio.
as into baseball as you?
No, my brother was football. My brother played football, basketball, baseball, but my brother's eyes weren't that good. So in baseball, he'd strike out, and then he'd hit a home run that was the furthest ball you've ever seen hit in your life. That's all he ever did in baseball.
Yeah.
Like he'd be perfect nowadays with what they do because they strike out or they hit home runs.
Yeah.
And so he was just so big and strong, but football was his number one, and he was a tremendous basketball player. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. So, yeah, for some reason, I loved baseball. I loved it. And
do you think you got that from your dad? Do you think?
Oh, I would think so, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, listening to those games with him and everything. And, my dad was really good. He never wore me out,
Yeah.
I mean, when you start playing baseball at 5 years old, if you're still getting after it at 18, you better not be worn out on it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's my boy Gary O'Mara. I mean,
Yeah.
he quit when he was like 12 or
And
something.
expand on that a little bit, because you said his dad wore him out. Like, what did his dad do?
Oh, made him play other games. If he didn't have a good game, he would say things bad to him while other people could hear. I mean, he just
trying
beat
to
him down.
live vicariously through
Yeah,
him a little bit.
He knew that he was good, and he beat him down. And,
Now, obviously, you were good. Your parents knew you were good. Did your parents ever send you to the baseball camps or do any of that stuff?
So my dad, we didn't have a lot of money. He was just a guy who worked for the government. He made good money, but, not anything special. And we thought we were rich. We didn't know. You went back to see the house we lived in. It was tiny. And I think of it in my head like, man, I love that house. It was so much fun. But, yeah, my dad, when I was 14 years old, he sent me to the Ted Williams baseball camp up in Massachusetts. And it was supposed to be the best baseball camp in the country.
Now, did they drive you there and drop you off and leave you, or was it one of those things where your parents stayed with you?
My parents were not with me, no. I was all alone, yeah. As a matter of fact, I flew. They didn't drive me. So I went up there, and he wanted to see against the best people what I was like. And I think the camp went through like 16 years old. And they had a traveling team. So in other words, Ted Williams baseball camp would go around Massachusetts and play other teams. So the very first day you get there and they have you dinner and they give you your room and everything. I mean, it was horrible too. It was like dorm. It was terrible. Little cabins and stuff by a lake. It was
and you
beautiful.
were how old now?
14. And
So this is really your first time away from home. You didn't do camps like
not really
summer camps.
No, I didn't do any of that. Yeah. So I went there, and the next morning they wake us up really early, and we go to breakfast, and then we go out to the baseball fields. And then everybody that was new, who was like older, not the younger kids, but the older, they basically gave you like a tryout, okay? And it maybe took a couple of hours. And they would watch you hit, and they would watch you field your position, and they would time you running and all these other things. And then after, it took about an hour and a half maybe there were probably 15 of us that came in at the same time. And after it was over, the guy who ran the camp came up to me and said, okay, you're going to play on our traveling team. I was going to be there for 2 weeks. So, I mean, I became like a darling. I mean, I didn't have to do all the other crap, and I was staying, and we'd go on a bus and go play a game, and then we'd get the best meals, and I would come home after the game late, and everybody was in their beds already, and I remember that they had remember those big huge cans of pudding?
Oh.
We would go in and
they're talking your language.
And we would just eat the pudding and stuff. And
is that where your love for pudding came
and then I'd sneak in and go and get in the bed, and maybe one of the dudes in there would be going, hey, how'd it go? And I'd say, I had a good game and blah, blah, But all I did every night was go play in a traveling league. Now, during the day, I still went out and hit and stuff, but I went there and found out, and a lot of this stuff I'm going to say today is cocky, but remember something, it's not bragging if it's the truth. There might have been one or two guys at that camp that were as good as me or better. And these dudes were from all over the place.
And I remember your dad said that's why he sent you there.
He wanted
to see
he wanted to see what I
good
stacked
you were.
up.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16 years old, he sent me to the same type of thing, but the football camp. And I went up there. It was in Pennsylvania. And Seven Springs is the name of it. It's a big skiing place. And there was a big camp, huge camp, biggest camp around. And Dan Marino was there, and Jim Kelly, and I think Todd Blackledge. I mean, big-time dudes. And I saw there were probably 15 to 20 quarterbacks. And I was probably about the fifth best quarterback. So I judged myself right. I mean, my dad went to the University of Pittsburgh. My whole family loved Pitt. My dad, got his degree from Pitt, first in his whole family. And I didn't go to Pitt because Marino was going to Pitt. I was one of those dudes that looked at what's happening around me, So I didn't go to Pitt. They offered me a full scholarship. I ended up going down to Oklahoma State. But yeah, and my dad, that's the only camps he sent me to. He wanted to see how good I was against the best in baseball and how good I was in the best in football. And we found out. And right then is when I thought, I think I can play football in college, but if I want to play in the pros, I think it's probably going to be baseball.
Interesting.
Yep.
So talk about that transition from loving baseball in elementary school. I think a lot of kids think they're going to be superstars in elementary school, but what was that like for you when you then went into high school playing sports?
Well, I mean, it was a little bit tough because my dad wouldn't play me with the kids that were my friends because the team wasn't good enough. So he made me play on another team somewhere in another whole nother league around us. Like I lived in Columbia, Maryland, and there was Howard County. Columbia had a league, but Howard County had a league. So my dad put me in that league. And then like I made the all-star team and I had to play against the Columbia All-Stars. So it was kind of weird, my friends and stuff. But I always played, until I got to high school, I always played with people older than me. I never played one time with people that were my age. Not one time.
Now, it's interesting because nowadays, they don't let you do that really, right?
They don't let you do anything. They don't let you play 3 sports like I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I
think that's unfortunate.
I can't stand it. I don't like it at all. I think it's terrible. I think what they're doing to kids. And I'm telling you, the sport that gets hurt is baseball.
Yeah.
Because baseball is a boring sport. A lot of people don't. Nowadays, we're like, let's go. We got to do this. You got the computers and everything like that.
The attention span.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so baseball's losing a lot of people, I think, that could be really, really good baseball players. But yeah, I played football, 1 day off, basketball, 1 day off, baseball.
But now I love, this is going to blow people's minds. Tell them your dad's theory about football and when you first started playing football.
Well, he never let me play with pads on. He would not let me play with pads on, and I used to be so upset because everybody, you want to go play with your friends and stuff. So all I could do was play with my friends like pickup games, in the summer, and we'd play tackle. And then my brother really helped me because he was 7 years older than me, but he would take me when he was like 15, 16, 17. He would take me with him, and he would pick me on his team. And I would play against these big dudes, and they would give me the ball. And I'd come home, my shirt would be all torn to shreds, and Mom was going, "What's the matter?" And my brother would go, "He's fine. Let's go. Get in the house." I mean, I could never complain. I could never cry.
Or he wouldn't take you
My
again,
brother
right?
would beat me if I cried. I mean, he used to sit on me and read the newspaper. And he's huge. He was 6'5", 230.
Yeah.
And so, my dad, he said, there's no reason for you to play in pads. So when I got ready for high school football, I had no idea what I never played a real game. I had no idea what my position was. So the night before, again, I don't remember many things, but I remember this. I'm sitting there and my dad's like, "You going to go to bed early tonight?" I said, "No, I'm going to go to normal time." He goes, "You better be ready tomorrow." He said, "This is going to be tough." And I said, "Let me ask you a question, Dad. What position should I play?" And he goes, "Well, you throw the ball really well. Why don't you be a quarterback?" And I said, "Okay." So I walked in. They knew we were coming because we had a really good class of kids. You've met some of them coming over from middle school. So the coaches, which you've met them too, Coach Duvall and those guys were the best ever. I had the greatest coaches, Coach Rhodes and all those guys, Coach Boatler. They were the best, Coach Dawes. But they knew we were coming, but they'd never seen me.
Not to mention your brother had kind of paved the way for you. So
He did, but another school.
But everybody had heard about him.
Well, I used to make a statement. They all used to call me Little Jim, or Little Pete, excuse me, Little Pete. Hey, there's Little Pete, Little Pete, Little Pete. And I used to say to myself, not with disrespect to anybody, I just said it to myself. I say, someday, man, they're going to say, "Didn't you have a brother named Pete?"
Yeah.
And I'm really proud to say it. About my junior year, people would say, "Didn't your brother play?" And I was like, man, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to always be in his shadow because he was a superstar.
So since he was 7 years older than you, you were what age then when he was having all those coaches come in to recruit him?
I was about 10 or 11, and I was the guy that they all really talked to a lot, all the coaches that recruited him, because they knew that my brother loved me.
I feel like you're the little brother from Blindside.
That's exactly
you were in there.
what I was. That's exactly what I was.
Yeah.
Although I wasn't as glad as that little kid. But yeah, no, I was. They all talked to me. Everybody. Bo Schembechler, Woody Hayes, Bobby Bowden. I can go on and on with the coaches that were in my house.
Well, yeah, because how many scholarship offers did he get?
Everybody. I mean, it was probably close to 100.
Wow.
Everybody in the country, from the West Coast to the East Coast.
That had to have.
He was the number one tight end in the entire country. And I think like the number 5 defensive end too. I mean, he was a star.
Well, that as a little brother had to give, that could either be intimidate you and say, I'm never going to live up to that, or that has to make you say, okay, I'm going to get there. People are going to be recruiting me too.
Absolutely. I said it all the time. Matter of fact, I think I said it to some of the coaches. I mean, that's how cocky I was.
I'm sure you did.
I would say, hey, you're going to be back here in 6 or 7 years recruiting me. But no, he was amazing. He really was. He was such an unbelievable athlete, so smart, and he was a little bit hard to live up to, but I wasn't afraid of it. I wasn't intimidated by it. I wanted to, I thought I was cocky, just like I am now. I thought I was good. And, when you play with people that are a year or two older than you all the time and you're really good, well, then you think, okay, I went in high school baseball, my freshman year, I hit 440 as a freshman, 440. My senior year, I hit 600, which Jay will tell you is unheard of. So, I mean, I knew in baseball I was but they wouldn't let me play quarterback until my junior year because there was another guy who played quarterback. And I love the family. We went to the funeral of his brother, but I was better than him. So, you know what they did? They said, let's put Traber over on defense. So, as a sophomore, I led the state in interceptions. I mean, God gave me incredible ability to know how to play. And people would look at my body and go, look at this guy.
Underestimate you?
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't even talk about tennis that I played when I was, 14 and under and played a lot of tennis and did really well at that. So God just gave me a lot. He really did.
I do have a question, though. What was your dedication like to sports? Did your parents have to make you get out there and practice, or what was your philosophy when you were a kid?
Never practiced. Never did anything I was supposed to do. I told you, though, we always played.
You were always playing.
All summer long, we played baseball.
So it was fun.
Yeah. Loved the game.
Yeah.
Loved playing with my friends.
I'm just saying, for parents out there, I think the key is to keep it fun.
The key to me is do not wear your children out. If you think they're going to be really good, great. Let them enjoy it because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. If they are really good, you're going to find out. How many people have we talked about before, Jewel, like somebody that we know who their kid was great like in 5th and 6th grade, and then when high school rolled around, they weren't any good at all, right?
Yeah.
There were people like that with me too.
Yeah.
So, I'm just telling you, parents, don't wear your children out. There are so many kids that end up either quitting or hurting themselves because the parents want to turn them into a superstar.
Yeah.
And it's bad. I told you about Gary O'Mara. I mean, I don't know how good he was going to be, but I'm telling you, up to about 12 years old, he could flat out play. And then he never played again.
Well, and you hear about so many kids, specifically pitchers, who mess up their arms so bad.
Because they're throwing breaking balls and all that crap.
Yeah, they're doing all this stuff at a really young age. Okay, so let's talk about you get to high school, and it is really it's fascinating to me. We've had a lot of people on from your high school because I am truly fascinated by the subject of Wild Lake High School and that whole experimental education system that they put in there. But it is amazing that you were able to excel at football, baseball, basketball, and you were in almost all the productions.
Not almost.
You were in all of them.
Every single play. Yeah, every play was in the choir.
How? Because nowadays they tell you can't do that. You have to pick one sport. I mean, at the most two.
Yeah.
So how did you juggle all of that?
Well, there were no video games, no cell phones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I did. That was my life. I mean, all I cared about was playing my sports. So I didn't even think twice about it. I mean, if they told us that we were going to have a hard practice and it went for 3 hours, then I was there for 3 hours. I didn't care. I did whatever I was supposed to do. And I'm going to tell you this. If I would have gone home to my dad, okay, and said, Dad, Coach took my face mask today and pulled me across and threw me down and stuff, you know what he'd done? He would have said, get in the car. And he would have drove up to the coach and he would have said, hey, Coach, you can do that anytime you want to if he needs it. That's what he would do.
Yeah.
He wouldn't like these parents nowadays. Don't touch my son. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. The times are so much different. My dad didn't care what they did to me. He didn't care. You know what? Because he knew them. He knew they were good people and they cared about me.
Yeah.
So they were going to do the hardest job.
You did have really great coaches. And your parents were really involved in the school program.
Absolutely.
Your mom was an assistant. I mean,
yeah.
What am I trying to say?
And
A
she was
substitute teacher.
Substitute teacher all the time. Yeah. Everybody loved her.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my question. What was your favorite sport to play in high school?
Football.
By far?
I love football, man. I loved it. But the reason why it stopped becoming my favorite sport was because I didn't like practice. And in football, you only play one game. Then you practice, game. In baseball, it's game, practice, game, practice.
Right.
So I did not like, man, when I got to college, we'll talk about that later, but when I got to college, man, the practices just drove me up a wall because I just thought we did a lot of stupid junk, just to have us out there. So but I love playing. If you'd have said to me, Jim, you could be a professional quarterback or a professional baseball player, it guaranteed it would have been a quarterback. But I wasn't big enough, and I had a really good arm, and I could run, believe it or not, but I wasn't big enough. They want them dudes that are 6'2", 6'3". Now, before you start talking about like Drew Brees and people like that, yeah, there's some of them that do it. But yeah, it was
that's the exception.
Baseball. I always knew that baseball was going to be my sport if there was going to be one.
So let's talk about that. You get into high school. Are there any specific games that stick out to you?
In high school?
In high school.
More football.
Like big moments.
I don't remember any baseball, really.
Did you have a lot of people coming to watch you?
Oh, yeah.
That were going to, that were looking at you? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, one of the dudes that I played with, offensive tackle, he got recruited and signed with somebody because the guy had come to see me and saw him and said, wow, that dude's pretty good. So, yeah, I had people all the time coming. And then in baseball, there were scouts. Yeah, but nothing really bothered me, Jewel. You know
no,
what I'm
I'm
saying?
not asking if it bothered you. I'm just curious how much attention you were getting.
Yeah, I got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
A lot of attention.
Anybody for basketball, or was it just mostly football?
I didn't have any chance. I could have played at a little school for I could have gone to like the community college or something like that. But no, I knew that it was football and baseball. And, you can play baseball on a football scholarship, but you can't play football on a baseball scholarship because there's so many more football scholarships. So I had 30 football scholarships and 1 baseball scholarship. That's it.
So talk about all the people who came into your house when it was your turn. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, obviously. Jimmy Johnson was my coach.
But he personally came to your house?
Oh, yeah. He came to my house,
talked
to my mom and dad.
Did his hair still look?
His hair was exactly the same. Dave Wanstead was the coach with him. He was the one that recruited me. Great man.
Loved him.
I love Dave Wanstead. And his wife. I had people that basically, and when I went to school so far away, treated me like I was like their child. I had one couple that you've met, the guy who ran the insurance company up there in Stillwater. And then Bob Leahy that you met, his wife would have me over with him. And then Tom Holliday.
Well, we haven't gotten to you choosing yet. We're just saying
sorry.
who came into the house.
There were a lot of people. Bobby Bowden came in. I don't even remember some of the head coaches or the other coaches of some of the schools. But, the guy from Boston College was there a few times. The guy from Purdue. Notre Dame head coach never came. I think that was Ara Parsegian. He didn't come. But yeah, I had a decent, not like my brother.
Right.
My brother would get picked up at school in a limo. Michigan picked him up. It was a 15-minute drive from his school to our house. It would take him an hour to get him home. In a limo, they'd offer him a drink, you want a snack. They just talk to him. Oh, yeah. And back then, they did anything they wanted to. They were illegal, did whatever they wanted. Yeah. So,
interesting. Now, where did your mom and dad want you to go? Where were they? Were they pushing you at all, or did they totally want you to make the decision?
They didn't push me, but my mom was really sad when I picked where I picked.
I bet.
Because I was going so far away, and I was her baby.
Sure.
Well,
and she would want to come watch you, and that made it very difficult.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up, for people that don't know, I grew up in Maryland, and it was obviously a big, long flight and everything, and they didn't have a lot of money, to be able to, follow me around.
So where did you think she wanted you to go?
That's a good question. I think they wanted me to go to Clemson. Clemson's the only place that gave me a baseball scholarship.
Okay.
But they also gave me a football scholarship. So I knew that both of them really wanted me. Now, Oklahoma State's coaches really talked to me. Everywhere I went, the baseball guys had to at least talk to me.
Because they all knew the word was
Well,
out.
the scouts, they talk to people, man. Scouts, they talk to people about people in different areas. So, like, they'd call it back in the Columbia or Baltimore area, and they'd talk to a scout. Jim Gilbert was a scout for the Orioles back there, and they asked him about me, and the guy said, oh, you can really play, blah, blah, whatever. And then they meet you when you come in. So, yeah, but I knew I was going to play football. But I had to go to a place where baseball was going to be good.
Sure.
So,
how many visits did you get?
you get 6 visits. And I visited Notre Dame, Pitt, Penn State, Purdue, which I shouldn't have. They wanted me to play defensive back, and I really wasn't excited about that. And then Clemson. And then I had one left. And I was going to go to Boston College, mostly just to go up to Boston, really. And Dave Wanstead called me because they had left Pitt and gone to Oklahoma State, and he said, hey, Jim, how's everything going? How's your recruitment going? I said, oh, it's okay. He says, where do you think you're going to go? I said, I don't know. I think I might go to Clemson. And he goes, you have any visits left? And I said, one. And he goes, where is it? I said, Boston College. And he says, are you interested in that? I said, not really. And he said, why don't you come out here? So I said, okay. So the next weekend, I fly to Kansas City. And then I got on a private jet to fly from Kansas City to Stillwater, Oklahoma, because all the dudes they recruited from the East Coast, they didn't want us to know how far out in the middle of nowhere Stillwater was.
Yeah.
So
That was so smart.
They would fly all of us to Kansas City, and then a private jet would go directly to Stillwater. But I, being the smart guy that I am, was looking out the daggone window. And I was like, there is nothing around here, But then when I went to my visit at Oklahoma State, there was a basketball game, and then Gary Ward, head coach, and Tom Holliday, the 2 baseball coaches, they came up to me and said, they introduced themselves, and they said, come up to our office. So I went to their office, and they had a rendering of the brand new stadium that's being built, which, by the way, is gone. I mean, it's not, they don't play in it anymore. That's how old I am.
Now they have another brand new stadium.
Now they have another beautiful stadium. And they talked to me for like 25 minutes, a half an hour, and I walked out of there, and I said, this is where I want to go, I knew I wanted to go somewhere I had a chance to play my second year in football, and I wanted to go to a place that had good baseball. And that was it. So I went home to my mom and dad and said, I really think I want to go to Oklahoma State. And my mom was like, Jimmy, it's so far away. And I said, I know, Mom, but this is where I need to go. She goes, okay.
No.
But I wanted to get away. I didn't want to be able to, all the people I went to high school with, they went to the University of Maryland and all these places, and they'd come home on the weekends and their mother would do the laundry. And I didn't want that. I wanted to go be by myself, which probably was a mistake because I became a psycho in college.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of surprising, knowing you the way I know you, that you did not want that, because you were such a mama's boy.
I know.
That you didn't want her pampering you. But maybe deep down you really wanted to spread your wild oats a little bit.
Or I didn't want my dad coming down to the campus and going, hey, Jim, man, I think you're not swinging the ball right. You're doing this here. So Maryland didn't get in on me until late, too. That was crazy. I had all these colleges all over the country, my own one. And then I went to that Scholar Athlete banquet. I was unbelievably blessed to be able to win the Scholar Athlete of the whole state. Every school sends a Scholar Athlete, and then I won the whole thing. I got like a $5,000 scholarship that I never used. And the head coach was there of Maryland, and he walked up to me, Jerry Claiborne, and he said, how did we miss you? And I said, I don't know. I live 30 minutes from your school. How did you miss me? And then he goes, well, are you interested in maybe? I said, no, I'm good,
Isn't that the way it goes, though? Even around here, people get mad.
Once in a while, they'll be missed out on. And I was from a little school, too. So, I mean, I was from a little school. But to think that Arizona State offered me a scholarship, but Maryland waited until the last minute to do it,
I do have a question for you. On the visits, I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Obviously, you chose Oklahoma State for all the reasons you just mentioned, but what was your favorite visit?
Clemson, because they had the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
So that's why you were considering Clemson?
I left Maryland. It wasn't, but it was good. But anyway, I left Maryland, and it was in like February. And I went to Clemson, and it was like 70 degrees, women walking around in halter tops and stuff. I'm like, wow. Ripped my coat off. I'm like, what's going on here? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to admit.
Well, good
I
thing
was
you didn't go to
17 years-
Arizona. You might have gone there.
Arizona State, I might have died. But 17 years old, too.
Yeah.
Remember, I didn't turn 18
were a
until I was in the
baby.
middle of a little high school. And I was seeing these girls walking around that were like 20 and 21. I was like, yeah, let me go there. So that was it.
Although Oklahoma's got some beautiful girls, too.
There is no doubt when I came
And
down here, they were beautiful.
they rolled
women.
out the Diamond Dolls for you.
They did. None of them ever wanted to go out with me, but yeah, they were. They all knew I was too crazy for them. A lot of them married other players.
Yeah. Okay, so you get to Oklahoma State. Now, they didn't fly you in by private jet.
Not this time.
On that time, right?
No, this time they flew me into Oklahoma City, and they took us by van up to the daggone university.
And what were you feeling in the pit of your
I had another
stomach?
dude who was my roommate, Devin Bonnick, and he was with me. He was from New York. And then I had another guy in the back who was from, I think, Virginia. And
So is this the first time all of y'all are seeing where you're going?
we all flew to Kansas City and then came in. So we're driving and we're driving and we're driving. And I'm just sitting there and I look at the driver and I go, dude, where are we going? And he goes, yeah, Stillwater's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And me and Devin, I never met Devin before. And I looked over him. I was like, what the heck are we doing? And he goes, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So
Were you nervous?
At that point, I thought, I'm literally, because everybody in Maryland thought that I was going like there were tumbleweeds going down the street.
That's what everybody thought about Oklahoma.
But
right?
it was close to tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
It was, and there was a bar named Tumbleweeds. So there you go.
That's true.
Yep.
So what was it like? Take us through your college experience playing football and baseball, because you were playing football for Jimmy Johnson, and then you were playing baseball.
Yeah. I had an unbelievable high school experience. I had an unbelievable college experience. But as I look back, I'm incredibly upset with myself because when I went to college, I was by myself. And instead of like being one of those people that was like, oh my gosh, I miss home, I was like, yes. And I became crazy. I never drank in high school. I mean, I would drink like Country Quencher, Boone's Farm wine or something, but I never drank. And when I got to college, I started drinking. I was only 17 years old. And then unfortunately, I got into doing some different drugs and stuff. And believe it or not, it really didn't affect me. I mean, I played, I was an All-American in baseball and everything, but I was just crazy.
Well,
I became so crazy.
We've talked about this, though, that you really tried not to touch the stuff for a long period of time. But from the stories I've heard, they were beating you up so hard in
That's
football.
the story, yeah.
This was not today's where they protect the quarterback.
No, yeah. My first semester, I tried to be good. I went to every class. I got good grades. And then I came back for my second semester after I turned 18. And we had spring football. And in spring football, we had 4 quarterbacks. And all three of the other guys were hurt. So and this is like you said, I didn't have any daggone green or red jersey on. I mean, they hit me. So I was running first team, second team, and even sometimes third team.
It's crazy to me that even back then, I know they didn't know all the things they know now, but they had to know that was not fantastic.
They didn't care. It's so much different back then. I mean, it was just, we were all, everybody was big and bad and blah, blah, blah. So I was playing against this defense. We had a really good defense. Dexter Manley, people will know him. And we had some dudes that played in the NFL. And my offensive line was okay. And so I got beat up. I got beat to death in this spring. So after about 4 or 5 days, my roommate, not Devin Bonnick anymore.
We won't name his name.
No, we weren't, but we both love him. He would get high. Now, he wouldn't do it in front of me. He wouldn't do it in the room or anything like that. So one night, I'm laying in the bed, and I am dying. And he goes, you want to go out? I said, dude, I can't. I don't think I can go out, man. I'm so sore and everything. I can't move. And he goes, I got something to make you feel better. And I said, come on, dude. He says, just try it.
Boy, that sounds just like those after school just say no to drugs deals right there. Just try it.
The first time I did it, Jay's going to love this. The only thing he had at the time was seeds. So we had to crush up seeds, and I smoked it. And all it did was give me a headache, which seeds will do. And I felt a little bit, but not much. So then the next day I went back to, went to school. Actually, I wasn't going to school. I would just stay in bed and get in trouble and everything else. And then after another night, 2 nights later or so, said, "How you feeling?" He goes, I said, "I was dying." And I said, "Anyway, try this. This is a lot better than seeds." So I did it. I got high for the first time. My body felt better. And I thought, wow. And then unfortunately, and I am embarrassed to admit this, I probably smoked weed somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 or 900 straight days. And it was bad.
Now, how are you handling the whole switching and was your football coaches really receptive to you switching over to baseball? Because there had to be some conflict.
Well, Jimmy Johnson sat in my living room in front of my mom and dad and said, "We will only make him go through spring football his freshman year. After that, he can play the whole baseball year." Well, I don't think they realized that at the end of my redshirt freshman year or my second year, I was the starting quarterback. I ended the year starting. So after the season, Jimmy Johnson called me in and said, "We have to have you in spring practice if you're going to be our starting quarterback." And I said, "Coach, you promised my mom and dad and me that I could play baseball." And he goes, "Well," he says, "do you think you can come over?" I said, "Listen, I will come over a little bit, but I'm going to play baseball." And so I went over there, and that was my big year. My sophomore year, I made All-American. We tore it up. We went to the College World Series. We lost in the final game. It was unbelievable. So that summer, I went to play baseball in Alaska. And just, again, I told you before, some of this is going to sound cocky, but this is a truth. I'm just telling you. I went up there, Julie, and it was chilly, right? So maybe highs were like 61. Nighttime, it was like 40. In the middle of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And sun's out all day long. And all the dudes that I played against up there, most of them were from the West Coast, Hawaii, California, Arizona, and they were dying in this weather.
Freezing.
Well, I'm from the East Coast, and I went up there. I was hitting 420, and second to me was hitting 310. I was hitting 110 points above anybody in the league. And then I was trying to get in shape to go back and play football. Well, how do you get in shape in that weather?
Yeah.
So I'm chopping wood and I'm trying to sweat and everything, and it wasn't working out. Well, in the meantime, they had given me a job, and like my boy that was with me, his job was to like watch a daggone drawbridge, and he got paid for it. Well, they gave me a construction job.
Yeah.
And the first time I got there, the guy who ran the construction thing, I don't know if he didn't like our team or what, but he said, "I need you to move those bricks from there to over here." So I just moved before lunch, I moved this whole pile of bricks over. And I'm thinking, well, I got to play a baseball game tonight. What are they doing to me?
Yeah.
So at lunch, I left and I never came back. And I told the people, I said, "You got to get me a different job." Well, they never got me a different job. So I wasn't working. So I'm trying to work.
What was the job for? Was it to give you spending money?
Yeah, you had to win money. You made money. It's like a summer job.
Gotcha.
So in other words, basically you're playing baseball to make money, but they give you like week jobs.
They're not allowed to pay you for that, so
That's
they have
right.
to give you.
The following summer, the summer before, I worked up here in outside of Stillwater and watched an oil well, and they paid me. That's what you do. You just sit there and watch the oil well. Well, that's what my boy Stanley Bond, my good friend, he was with me. We lived together up there. They had him working at like a drawbridge. So after about a month, I knew that I had no chance to get ready because let me tell you something. August in Oklahoma on AstroTurf is the worst thing you could ever imagine. I mean, if it's 100 degrees out on the AstroTurf, it's like 120, all right? And I have to come back and be in that shape. And they don't care what I was doing. So I left after a month. I was the only one on the team that kept my return ticket. Everybody else gave their ticket, but I didn't. I don't know why. But after a month, I said, unless you start paying me money and giving me a good job, and I mean good money, I'm leaving. And they were like, "Oh, we're going to do it." Next morning, I got up, I went to the airplane, and I flew. I got out. And I went to Oklahoma State and worked my butt off, and I was in the best shape of my life when practice started. And they made us do this thing called a 21-minute run, where you had to run around the field for 21 straight minutes. And my quarterback coach that you met, Bob Leahy, he told us, "I want you guys to be in the front." Well, there are world-class athletes on this team, right? I mean, one guy was a world-class sprinter, but he wasn't real good at running the street. But there were others that were really good at running. So I had this guy who was the walk-on quarterback. His name was Jay Van Ernst. We used to go, Jay Van Ernst. I mean, we used to make fun of him, right? And he shot out of the gate when we started our run like 1,000,000 miles an hour. And he beat everybody by a long time. I think he ran almost 4 miles in 21 minutes. That's like 5 minutes a mile, okay?
Wow.
Which is crazy doing it like that. And I was in the top 10. I ran hard. I did a good job. And Bob Leahy was not happy with me. So he made me run stadium stairs the next morning. So you know what? I'll do what you tell me to do. So I had to get up at like 4:30. I had to be out there at 5:30. I ran the stadium stairs. I went back and had breakfast, and then we had practice. Well, the first practice, they had me running 4th team behind 2 guys that I'd beaten out and a brand new freshman. So after about a week, called my dad, and I said, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to play baseball. And, of course, you know the story about my brother. My brother quit football to be a doctor, and my dad did not like that. I'll just tell you. He didn't like it at all. And so he was not happy with me. I said, Dad, listen, I want to go play baseball. They're really, excuse my language, screwing me here in football, and I don't want to do it. Why am I out here? I can go for fall practice. They play games back then they used to play games against littler schools in the fall.
Get them ready.
Yeah, and I said, let me go do that. And Dad said, okay. And my mama got on and said, Jimmy, we love you and stuff. So I'm making her sound like a stupid. She was so smart. But she was just
the brains
so
of the
loving.
outfit.
She was amazing. But she was so loving to me.
So,
well, wait a minute. So now I go in to meet with Jimmy Johnson, and I go, Coach, what are you doing with me? I said, I beat these other dudes out. This dude's a freshman, blah, 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 blah. And I said, why are you doing this to me? He goes, this is what we think we're going to do with you, Jim. We're going to have you be like the designated passer. So in other words, if we're behind a little bit and we want to start throwing the ball a little bit more, we're going to put you in a quarterback to throw the ball. I said, Coach, you're the smartest football coach I've ever seen. I said, that means that I'm going to be at a massive disadvantage because everybody in the world going to know I'm throwing the ball.
Right.
Because I could throw the ball.
Sure.
I was really good at throwing the ball.
Yeah, but you're just alerting everybody that he's fixing to throw the ball.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, I told him, I said, Coach, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not going to do that. I earned my chance to at least be second team and fight for the job.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to give it up, just go play baseball. They had my locker cleaned out in 20 minutes. But he left me on football scholarship so that baseball didn't have to give money for me. So that helped immensely. Think about that. I'm hitting 4th in a lineup that was in the College World Series, and they're not paying 1 penny for my scholarship. So it helped them get other players,
Yeah.
So then I left football, and I never played football again. But I tell you what, man, college football on a Saturday, oh, my gosh, it is just the greatest thing to be out there in the crowd, and I loved it. And I loved playing quarterback because, I watch games. I'm very cerebral about the games.
Yeah.
I look at all the things, and I look at quarterbacks and stuff, and I loved playing. I loved outsmarting the defense.
What was the most fun game? Like, who were y'all playing against?
Well, we weren't very good, and I would get beat up a decent amount, but my most fun game would have been against Iowa State.
So it was not the OSU game.
Oh no, I got killed. I did throw a touchdown. I threw an interception too. But no, we're playing Iowa State, and they because Iowa State wasn't that good, they thought that we could let another quarterback start, and that they would just run the ball, and do some things and beat them. Jimmy Johnson was a big-time defensive coach. I mean, he didn't like offense very much. He just wanted to play great defense and punt, kick field goals. So we're getting beat in the 4th quarter. And we're at home, and the crowd is restless. So they called me Sonny after this quarterback, Sonny Jurgensen, because he had a little pot belly like I did, okay? And so he's there. I got my helmet sitting over here, and I'm watching and stuff, just sitting there. And suddenly he goes, Sonny! I'm like, and he goes, you're in. I reach my helmet, I get in, I go run in there, and I proceed to lead them down the field for a touchdown, get the ball back, and start leading them down to win the game. We're down 2. And I'm just boom, boom, picking this team apart, man. It's some of the best football I ever played. So we have a 42-yard field goal to tie the game, and there's like 35 seconds left. So we got a lot of time, right? If you want to do what you want to do. So I come up to the line of scrimmage, and I'm looking around, and they call timeout on the sideline. Okay, go to the sideline. Now, Bob Leahy, my offensive coach, is in the press box. Jimmy Johnson is on the sideline. He goes, Sonny, listen. He goes, we're going to run the ball right now. We're going to give it to Ernest. Ernest Anderson was our running back. He was really good. We're going to run the ball up the middle, hopefully get a couple of yards, and then we're going to kick the field goal. We did have a good kicker, but 42 yards is not, back then, was not an easy field goal. So I go, Coach, we can get some more yardage, make this field goal automatic. He was listening to me. He says, you do what I say. He was yelling at me. He said, you do what I say. And then he said, and don't you dare audible. You know, when you change the play at the line of scrimmage.
I know what audible
is. Okay,
is.
I'm just making sure. I don't know if everybody did. But I said, Coach, and he goes, nothing more. He goes, go on the first sound. So that means I just go to the line of scrimmage and go, hop, real quick, and we go. But if I had the other one, I would go 2:45, and I would. So I come to the line of scrimmage, and I look at the defense, and there are about 7,000 people standing right in the middle. They know we're going to run the ball.
Right.
I could have called 7 to 10 plays that would have either been nice gaining plays or touchdowns. Okay?
Did you
Guaranteed.
think about audible in it?
I couldn't. It's on the first sound.
Mm.
That's why he did it.
Yeah.
So I turned around to my man Ernest and I said, good luck, dude. I turned around. I hand the ball to him. He loses a yard. They call timeout. Colin Ankerson misses the field goal. We lose the game. And I was livid. I mean, livid. So that was my favorite game. I think I was like, now my very first start was unbelievable too, because we played Washington and they were ranked high in the country. And I had a great game against them, but I dropped a snap at the end and then everybody got all over me. So
we got to get back to baseball since that's what this is about.
Okay.
So you quit football.
And went to baseball.
You go over to baseball.
Yeah.
Did you start dominating there? You said you made it to the College World Series.
Well, my sophomore year, I was an All-American.
Yeah.
My second year was a little bit tough. I pulled my hamstring early in the season, and I wasn't full speed, and it was really a tough season for a while. And then I got back to normal towards the end of the season, and we went to the College World Series. I didn't make All-American that year. I made second team All-Big 8. There was another guy in our conference at my position who was really good. I beat him out the year before. He beat me this year. So anyway, but it was still a really good year. I mean, I hit really good, but it just wasn't what I did the year before. So we go to the College World Series again. We have a home regional for the first time ever in Oklahoma State history. We win it, and we go to the regional. To Omaha. So we get to Omaha, and we get in there at about 8 o'clock in the morning. We drove all night. And they don't have our rooms ready for us. So we're sitting there at the Red Lion Inn in Omaha. It was a nice place, believe it or not. And we're sitting there and we're waiting, for the rooms, and we're all dead tired, worn out. So I buy a newspaper, and I start reading it, and the headlines basically are about Texas and us. We have to play Texas in the first round, and Roger Clemens is the starting pitcher. Well, these dudes in that team, they were killing me in this interview. I mean, just ripping me. We never even played them. But I guess they knew about me because I was a little bit brash and, I got after it and I was the 4-hole hitter. And one of them was this little dude who just passed away a couple years ago. He's from Oklahoma. A lot of people know him, but he was saying stuff about me that I just couldn't believe. So we get in the game and I'm at first base and he gets on base, first base. I come walking over and I'm standing next to him. He comes up to about my shoulder, right? And he's a good player, but little tiny guy. And I say to him, dude, if there weren't 18,000 people in the stands, I would beat your blankety blank right here. And he goes, no, I was misquoted. I said, bull, what? I said, you're a bunch of crap, dude. I said, I will punish you. And he just stood there and you could see that he was nervous. But what could I do? I couldn't just start punching him and fighting him, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we played Roger Clemens and he was unbelievable, and he dominated us. And we might have been the best team in the country that year. The year before we went to the final game, we weren't. But this year, we were really good. So we lost to them, and then we won a game, and then we lost. Well, back then, in the middle of the College World Series, they had the draft. Well, if you go back to 1982 and look at the June, I think it's June, Sports Illustrated, they had a whole deal about the draft. Baseball was a lot bigger back then. And they had the top 10 college players and the top 10 high school players for the draft. And I was one of the top 10 players, which means that I'm probably going no later than like the second round, okay? Well, the first day of the draft, I think back then there were like maybe 5 or 6 rounds in the first day, nothing. So we're off that night, and I just go and get absurdly drunk, okay? I mean, just terrible. My boys had to take me home and everything. I never did that, but I did it that night because I was crushed. Well, I didn't care at all anymore about it. I didn't care. I thought, well, I'm probably going back to college, whatever, you know. And then we were going to play a game that night. And I remember standing in the Red Lion outside my room, and one of my assistant coaches came by and said, hey, did you see you got drafted today? I said, no, what was it? He goes, you went in the 21st round. And I was like, I can't tell you what I said. Anyway, we go play that game. We lose. We're out of the tournament. So I had convinced the people that I had a girl drive my car for me up to Omaha. She wasn't like my girlfriend anymore. She was just a friend of mine. And I told her that I'd get her tickets for the games and stuff. So I did, and she had a friend there too. So she drove back to Oklahoma with her friend. And I drove my car, and I went up to Chicago to see my brother and talk with him about what I should do. And then I drove home. And the Baltimore Orioles, they offered me $5,000 of a boning cert, which, by the way, was huge for the 21st round. And
what would it have been if you'd gone in the second?
60, 70, 80, somewhere in there. Back then, it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
Now the second round's like $2 million.
Right.
But so I went home, and I talked with my mom and dad. I remember I was crying. And I told my mom and dad, I said, I don't want to go to school anymore. By the way, I wasn't even going to class.
You weren't going to school. Yeah.
Okay, back then they didn't care. I didn't even go to class.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that. My mom and dad didn't know that.
Sure.
And so I said, listen, I just want to play baseball. If I go back, who knows what could happen? I may not get drafted. I mean, when you're a junior, you at least have a little bargaining power. When you're a senior, you got nothing. You either take it or you're done. So I think they offered me like $2,500. I said, stop it. I said, that's ridiculous. And then Jim Gilbert says, well, I'll talk to somebody and blah, blah. And he said, we'll give you $5,000. That's it. So I told my mom and dad, I said, I don't care about the money. I want to go. So my dad was very understanding, and my mama was crying along with me. But they said, go ahead. So I signed for $5,000. I don't even know where that money went. Who knows? And I went to play in Bluefield, West Virginia.
Okay, well, let's stop right there.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because one of the things is getting drafted by the Orioles. They already have a first baseman.
Really? You mean a guy who's in the Hall of Fame, was one of the greatest players ever play? Yeah, Eddie Murray.
Did it ever cross your mind at that point, since they were the ones drafting you, to go back for your senior year for an opportunity?
Not 1 second, and I'll tell you why. Because I was so cocky, I didn't think I was beating Eddie out. Never thought that. But I thought, I will force them to get me to the big leagues. I will show them, you know, I can run, I could play the outfield, I could DH, I could do stuff. So I just said no. And by the way, I was tremendous trade bait too for another team who needed a first baseman. So no, I never thought about going. I did not want to go back to college. I did not want to go to school anymore. I wanted to play baseball.
But as a 64-year-old man,
yeah.
If you were talking to that you back then, would you still give the same advice?
Absolutely.
Go for it? You would?
You don't want to do something that you're not into.
Yeah.
I would have gone back to school. I would have been doing crazy stuff. I probably would have gotten in trouble.
You were ready to start your life.
I wanted to go be a daggone adult.
Yeah.
And I was only 22 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was young. And here's the deal. When I got back home when I was with my mom and dad, the Orioles had me come back, put a uniform on when I signed, and go out and take batting practice.
That's cool.
And when I took batting practice, I was hitting balls out of the yard like left and right. One, two, you know. And then I went out to take ground balls. They wanted to see me take ground balls. And Eddie Murray walked by me and said, don't mess my dirt up. And I was like, oh, okay, Mr. Murray.
Oh.
Yeah. But I didn't want to go to college anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, let's wrap it up there. We've got a part 2 coming, which we find out all about this next phase of baseball.
Wow.
But this has been good
I can't
stuff.
tell all the stories, but I guess we will.
No, we'll keep it PG. How's that? Let's
Sounds
talk
good.
about Rob's Ranch.
Rob's Ranch. It's incredible,
which
man.
probably you needed back in college.
I definitely needed it in college, but I might have been like Jeremy, the guy out there. It might have taken me 9 times, but no, listen, Rob's Ranch is just the absolute best. You know, there's big gambling situation going on right now with the guy out in college.
Tech.
And I'm telling you, I thought in my mind, I said, wow, you know, I hope he goes to somewhere like Rob's Ranch.
And get some help.
They don't do gambling, but he went somewhere to get some help.
Right.
And I hope it's real, unlike, you know, Tiger Woods or somebody that did crap before. So Rob's Ranch helps so many people. It's unbelievable. And it's Christ-centered recovery center for men. They also have one that's an outpatient that's for everybody in Edmond, Oklahoma. But the other 2 are for men, and what they do for them is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So if you know somebody who's suffering with any type of addiction, drugs, alcohol, that is the place to go. And they also have scholarships if you think you can't afford it. So get some help.
Yep. And you can go to my Instagram, @Jim Traber, and send me a message. I'll help you. It can be anonymous. We don't tell anybody who you are. We'll get you help. Or if you know somebody, you can go to robsranch.org. And down at the very bottom, there's a little spot. If you want to donate some money, you can do that too. So we love Rob's Ranch. And I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much to Jay Pitts, doing a great job. We'll be back next week to talk a little bit more about something I love to talk about, me.